Got a request on the Ash builds by the Horror, and today I'm going to be trying my best to explain to you guys how the whole Ash gameplay goes and what and how my builds work. It's gonna take some time, so let's go. Ash is your ninja frame, and you're gonna be spending 98% of your time invisible. So smokescreen always active. Wanna really pay attention to that, to the duration. After some time, you just get a. It's just kind of muscle memory of the time that you have invisible and all that stuff. And we're usually gonna drop one of our abilities for a helmet. If you have another source of armorship, you're probably gonna drop shuriken. If you're gonna use a melee, it really depends if you're gonna drop bladestorm or not, but usually the one to drop is the third ability, the teleport, because you cannot use it against the Demolus on the disruption. So that's usually the ability to go. You just cannot come to their face and finish them. It just doesn't work, but you can still use your bladestorm against them. So that is something to consider. And also bladestorm actually stops them for maybe 2 seconds. And I'm not even sure, but there might be diminishing returns on that or not. Anyway, you're gonna be spending time like that, invisible, and because of that, casting speed is something really good to have. Without any casting speed, it's gonna take some time for you to do the whole movement to throw the grenade on the ground and go invisible. And I always recommend using that, either on Archon shards or as a natural talent on your build. I have 5 red Archon shards here for ability strength because the last time I used this Ash was for my Bladestorm build. This is what I called my melee Ash. All the builds are focused on using melees. For this Ash, I spent 3 Vazaran Forma. 1, 2, 3. Spent a Umbra Forma that is probably here, a Naramon, a Zenuric, and a Aura Forma. I spent pretty much the same for both Ashes. This one I had to change one extra, so that's why it's 8, but it's usually 7. The other Ash has 7. So this first build is, let's see. Some of them I'm not gonna remember everything that I changed or why I did the changes, so bear with me. Here we have a build focused on heavy attacks, which are melee. So empowered blades and the gladiator mods here. Empowered blades or heavy attacks are gonna hit like a truck. Gladiator mods to make our weapon to have extra crit chance, a 12 times multiplier. Or natural talent because of the casting speed that I mentioned before. Narrow-minded, it, along with prime continuity, is gonna give us the 20 seconds, which I consider to be just decent for Ash. Some builds I think I have 17 seconds, but it's still fine. Prime flow for some energy, which is always good to have. And that's it. For the Arcanes, Energize is really good. If you don't have Energize, you might want to go with Steadfast, if you have. For the other Arcane, I usually have Arcane Strike, because I like to drop the attack speed from my builds. I like to not use the Fury or Prime Fury or any mod for attack speed, because you can get that somewhere else, that being your Warframe Arcane. And we usually have enough damage with our condition overload, so I think it's better to use Strike than to use Fury. That's how it goes. In the Arcane Strike is gonna give you 60% attack speed, which is actually more than what your Primed Fury would give. It's 5% more. So that's what I like to go with. Roar. It's on the place of the Shuriken, and it's pretty much works as a Bane. Whenever you're gonna use status effects, you might want to consider using Roar. Ash has a really good passive, which makes your bleeds to deal just insane damage. So this combos very well with Ash's passive and the whole the whole dot. The whole dot. I'm gonna say scheme because you're gonna be affecting the dots, electricity, heat, slash, and that's how it goes. Use this build to go against Grenier. Yeah, usually Grenier. And a good melee. Let's go on to a Expedite Suffering build. It's gonna work, and I have used this for both what it says for bleed and poison, but mainly for poison. I think most of the times that I use it are for poison, especially going against Lua, the Lua disruption. I've used this with the first ever time I went to level cap on Lua. That was with a Zaw with poison, toxin, and I might have used this also with the Stropha. Not really sure, but it's really good, and I recently changed it because yeah, you gonna use your heavy attack, press this, and it's dead. It's gonna multiply your bleeds and poison and deal all the damage that would be over time in a single hit and amplify it. So it's pretty good. It's one skills with strength. The only thing I don't have a lot here is range, so we're pretty limited to almost 10 meters, so it's gonna be around this. Now, one of the optional mods in this build is Smoke Shadow, because we're going melee, we have to be close, and whenever we're close to a Demolist, we might get out of our stealth because nullifying pulses, and so Smoke Shadow is really something you have to consider if you want to use it or not. Luckily, I have enough polarity or capacity here to change it to something else. I just haven't touched this build in a while, so eventually I'll change it. Just haven't decided yet what I'm gonna trade it for. Could use maybe Gladiator mod to further increase the critical chance of my melee, or who knows. This one has slightly more range than the others because you don't want to have a range that is really too low, because otherwise you're gonna really face out to the enemy. Let's move on. Sickening Pulse. This one I have for especially when I'm dealing or using gas or electricity with my weapons. If I'm not wrong, I use this against infested with gas builds, and with electricity I use this on the Rumblejack video. Yeah, the Rumblejack run. So we have 2 Gladiator mods. I probably should trade Smoke Shadow for the last Gladiator mod. That's what I told you guys at the beginning. There's really room for improvement in every build. So there's always that. I just used to feel really comfortable having a health mod, because the health drain is a thing, but you can counter that with a mod or something else on your melee, or who knows, maybe your sentinel. There are good mods for sentinels that can help you with the health drain, so it's not as required, but I just used to have it. Other than that, let's see. Yeah, you're gonna do that. Use your heavy attack, usually with armor strip, and then use Sickening Pulse. I don't know if I said the Rumblejack, and I just cannot remember the other one. Oh, was it gas? Let's see. Was it this one? Probably this one. Reflex Coil, Gladiator Vice, Relentless Combination. Both look pretty similar. It's just Weeping Wounds. So yeah, it's probably not gonna deal a lot of damage because I didn't get an electricity proc there. Oh. Yep, fail. I just think I need the combo for this to work. Yeah, and because of the stance, I think we have some broken slash shots. That might be it. But I don't really remember. Oh, I might just kill these dudes. Oh my god. Yep. Yep. 341k. Pretty good. It really, the way that Sickening Pulse works, it just like, it transforms all of your procs there into 10 procs. So it's really crazy. That goes for gas and electricity. But for the bleed, heat, and toxin, it just refreshes them. You can still work and use this with heat, but it's not as good. But I've seen people use this already. I forgot to say about the names. Some of them don't make a lot of sense these days because it's really been so long. This is gonna look like a very weird build, and I made it, if I'm not wrong, to use with the Aken Brunt in Karnan, because it was a mix between some Hoster mod and Arcane Arachne, and really some builds are just left behind and they just stayed back in time. Xata's Whisper is kind of weird to work with melee weapons, but if I'm not wrong, I use this with the Akenbrand. I'm almost sure of that. Almost sure. We have some enemies here. Let me see if I can get this going. And just throw some of these spectral axes. So I'm gonna lose the combo. No. Yep. Oh, too much damage. Ah, god damn it. Just gonna summon a lot of them. I wonder what deals more damage and what deals combo fastest, the fastest. If it is me striking with this or just using my Blade Storm. No, the Blade Storm is fast, but it also deals more damage. What just happened? How did it reset my combo? I didn't even use the... Okay. I think I might have the perk for the combos, so when I use... yeah, it might be. This is slow and painful. There we go. I should have max combo for this to be really good, I think. How the F did I even use this? Like at any point. It's just so bright. Yeah, maybe it was like this. Don't even remember. It's been so long. Probably need the combo. But that's kind of what it was for. I cannot really recommend a lot a build for Xata's Whisper for melees. Maybe for Gunblades. Might be a good thing with Gunblades. Primary target with Tices or a very good and accurate secondary. And just annihilate them. Just one-shot them because of Xata's Whisper. Got a Eclipse build that was clearly built for Exodia Contagion. With Arcane Arachne, Hoster mods, a Gladiator. Might be better to put another Gladiator. I don't even remember why I have Total Eclipse in. Again, long time. Hard to talk about the builds. But really, Eclipse just increases the damage of Exodia Contagion up to ridiculous levels. So that is something. I think I might have used this on the Contagion run with... There was actually slash. I just made a slash build to make something different. Everyone just, I think, goes with either corrosive or viral on their builds for Contagion. I just decided to do something different. Damage is pretty good. It's not going up to the millions because I really don't know. But it's good. And it worked back then. So it is something to consider. Maybe Eclipse is a hard ability to work around. I would say, if not for Contagion, I wouldn't use this because actually, if you enter invisibility on the right light, let's say, you will just keep the damage buff indefinitely. But at the same time, it is another ability that will get cancelled by a nullifier bubble, so it probably isn't the best idea. Let's go for the last one. This is the Bladestorm build. I use this with, if I'm not wrong, a Venka build. A Venka Prime build. I have a build for... Is this the one? Might be this one. Yeah. I am not 100% sure. But I did try a lot of stuff with Bladestorm. And this is a Bladestorm build to kill Demolist. This is not a Bladestorm build to kill normal enemies. That's why you're not seeing a lot of bleeds, or you're not seeing bleeds dealing as much damage, because it's made to kill Demolist. And sometimes, and as it scales, it gets better. But made to kill Demolists, and it worked. Time to go to the second Ash. This I call the Ranged Ash. Got some shards for casting speed and 2 for energy max. Here we go. Aura is something questionable. Giving a little bit more power strength to Roar. Usually have this one for status builds, mainly for Slash. Arcane Acceleration to boost the fire rate instead of putting on the weapon. Judging by the acceleration, it was used with a rifle the last time. Good to have Smoke Shadow, and the whole scheme of how it works, it just transferred over to the melee build. Instead, we're not getting into melee range, so it gives us some more space to work around, and some abilities become more relevant. Smoke Shadow becomes a lot more relevant. That's how it goes. Got one for Eclipse, but I rarely use Eclipse. I can't even remember a build where I have used Eclipse, a run that I've used Eclipse, really, to be honest. I just can't remember. I might even have used for Contagion. Look at that. I might have used this for Contagion last time. It's so crazy. Jesus Christ. Got one for Expedite Suffering. I think I've used this one once. Probably once. And I don't even remember the weapon that I used it for. The range on this one is too low, though. Too freaking low. Just need to drop... Let me see the other ones. Yeah, just need to drop Vitality and put some range mod here to make it better. Maybe stretch just to make it a little bit better. I really cannot remember the weapon that I used this one. Xata's Whisper. Amazing for one-shots. This was the build used on the last level cap, which was the one that's coming out tomorrow, and you guys are gonna see. Yeah, pretty good. Works pretty well, especially for one-shotting. Armor strip, put Xata on. It's hard for you to not one-shot stuff with this. I would say that maybe Xata's Whisper armor strip is the way to one-shot stuff, or is the easiest way to one-shot stuff. At some point I made a Mark for Death build, and this isn't supposed to be here. Yeah, I just made a Mark for Death build at some point. Does it work? Yeah, but this thing just got nerfed to the ground at some point, and I think the one uses it. But yeah, it works. It's 5. It doesn't have... Oh, okay. Just trying to see if I could get some more stuff. Okay, I think it works. It doesn't work with prime targets. I think it does, but I'm not... Yeah, let's see. This one. Bam. Everyone's dead. That's how it goes. This one is not suited for level caps. Because, yeah. The only reason for this to work would be if we could transfer that bleed for a demolisher somehow, but it would still not be very good. Probably. But it's still usable, a Mark for Death build. Probably not as effective, but usable. And then there is a Sickening Pulse one, used for mainly electricity builds. Yeah. Same. I think I might be crazy right now, but I think the last time I used this one might have been with the Alternox. It's been so long. Let me just take a look here and see. I'm searching on my phone, but I do think it was. Let me see. The first video that pops out is mine. Let me see. And yep, it was. Yep, very specific. I was thinking about another weapon where I could use this build, but what else weapons have electricity? I remember using electricity on a Supra Vandal, but I probably didn't use this build. Might have used a Xata, or I don't even know. But another weapon that has a lot of electricity is the Lanka. But the Lanka might just one-shot stuff with Xata's Whisper, so... Yeah. If you ever wanted to kill stuff with electricity or gas, this might be the build to go for. To just apply the big damage and use Sickening Pulse. I think that's how it goes. There isn't as much to explain, I think, on how everything just goes. Like, to detail everything, I don't think that is kind of necessary. But I'm gonna just summon the usage of the abilities, which maybe I think it's not as hard to figure out. But let's go. Sickening Pulse, apply the big damage or the lot of stacks and then use it. Mark for Death, it's use the Mark for Death and then use Teleport. Xata, keep Xata up all the time and make sure to hit the head, because Xata makes a bullet attractor and the procs, they just go to where you shoot. So if I'm not wrong, shoot with your feet and you get the proc on their feet. The projectile might just try and go to their feet. Yeah, I think that's how it goes. And if you hit the head and you shoot, is gonna go for the head. That's how I think it works. But for the head, I'm sure. But now for the feet or any other place, I'm not so sure. But I think that's how it goes. Let's see. Expedite suffering, apply your big damage, and just use it as fast as possible. Get in range and use it. Eclipse, keep it active at all times, but do remember to go invisible on a light area, not on the dark, because if you go on the dark, you're going to be keeping that damage reduction eclipse for the duration of your invisibility or the duration of your eclipse. And if you do happen to recast your eclipse, it's gonna, if I'm not wrong, it's gonna remember where you last were, the lights that you were last exposed. So it's gonna just re-trigger the DR, or if you're on the light, your damage buff. And roar, same thing, just keep it active at all times. Yeah, I think that's really how it goes. Okay. Companion, that is something that I cannot forget to talk about. As a stealth frame, as Ash, most of your companions are able to survive, excluding sentinels. Okay, most of your companions are just gonna survive because they are also gonna enter stealth with you. But I really cannot recommend you to use the Panzer Vopaphyla or any of the Vopaphylas, because whenever the Panzer devolution triggers in your stealth, same goes for Jin when he's rezzed, they're gonna res out of stealth and they're not gonna get into stealth until you recast your ability. This doesn't happen every time. Sometimes they spawn back and go straight into stealth. But this is gonna get you killed. Trust me. It's gotten me killed many times. And this is just annoying as F. Truly. Other sentinels to use. You can use Sismita to buff your Steel Essence farm. You can use, one of my favorites is the Vaska Kavat. If you ever go down, this cat will save you. He's really good. A raz every 90 seconds is really good. If I'm not wrong, it's 90 seconds. Yeah. Also, the cat with dummies not using. Oh no, it's not the cat. Or is it? God damn. There is one that you need tech assault. Trying to find the other one. Hunter Recovery is the mod that I was saying that actually heals you. Or is Pack Leader. Is your pet? It's Hunter Recovery. It's Hunter Recovery. Pack Leader, you heal the pet. Hunter Recovery, the pet heals you. If you ever... Yeah, I don't even need to say this, but if you ever plan to use a Vopaphyla, make sure to have that mod that actually prevents you from getting killed. It is Martyr Symbiosis. This one, it's gonna save you a lot of times if you ever plan to use one. But I don't really recommend. There were runs where I almost lost because of the Vopaphyla. The Vopaphyla just getting rezzed and being targeted by enemies just got me killed. Especially when there's enemy toxin weapons. Yeah. For Ash, let's see. What can be an issue as Ash? Enemy toxin weapons is terrible. Make sure to, when going out of stealth, you just use rolling guard before you go out of stealth and then go back in. That is something you can just get used to and put into the muscle memory to do every time to make sure you're safe if you're dying a lot when you get out of stealth. If not, you might want to save your rolling guard to when you get into a bad situation. Energy drain is a problem. It's what I usually do when I get a energy drain. One is to save, to try to find the demo list as fast as possible, and have a energy pad, because then my energy is gonna be 0, and because I have a good amount of efficiency, it's usually 25 energy. My smoke screen, usually, not every time, but then I just pop out a energy pad, pop my invisibility, and I'm usually good to go. One of your last resources for that is to drop your on-call crewmate, which is gonna just shred everything to pieces. Those are like your 2 like lifelines that you have when shit goes down, and shit will go down every time shit goes down. Specters are something that I always recommend you guys to use on endurance runs, because they're just so freaking good. I even killed Demolist with a Specter once. It was on a comment video. They just scale really well, and especially Volt with the Trumna. The Trumna deals pretty good damage, has heat damage. He puts out the shield, double crit damage, and electricity damage from the shield too. So it's pretty good. I wanted him to, my crewmate to just stop shooting, but that's not gonna happen anytime soon. Let's see if I can. Yeah, you should be crafting Specters from day one. That is just something that has to be said. I'm trying to think. Yeah. Focus school. I usually have Yunaru. I think Yunaru is the best focus school in the game, just because it's the best one to res yourself if you ever go down. I think it's the way to go. If not Yunaru, I usually go Neromon, because I'm trying some melee stuff, because if not, it's just Yunaru. It's Yunaru day, night. It's Yunaru all day. That's how it goes. I used to use Zenuric a lot in the past, but since they removed the heavy attack efficiency from Zenuric, I haven't used it since. Might have used it like once or twice. Vazarin, I've heard people saying you should always go Vazarin when you go into level cap. I think that's a no. I don't like Vazarin. I don't like my gameplay going around me every few seconds, getting into operator and then just dashing through my frame. If I ever had the macro for that, okay, but nah, it's too much work for staying a couple seconds alive. Not for me. I just think Yunaru is the way. As long as you use your stealth wisely, do as I said. Don't get out of stealth in the middle of a shit ton of enemies. Watch out for everything around you. You know, watch for those dots that you get. Watch for the heat procs. Watch for the slash procs. Usually, toxin procs don't kill you, but it depends on what enemies are you facing. You usually get toxin procs from Noxus. But if you're not going Kappa, probably the only place you're gonna see that is against the infested, or if your enemies get a toxin weapons. But if they get toxin weapons, you shouldn't be taking any damage, because if you take any damage, you're dead. See if it can do anything. Yeah. I've got a couple instances where you could clearly see my Specter doing a lot of damage, but this one just... Oh, he's a level 1 and you're level... Yeah, he's not scaling in here, that's why. If he was... we would already have dead enemies. But they are good. They are really good. I think that's it. For the amp, I've got a completely separate video on the amp. I'm also using a Decaying Dragon key. To be honest, I just leave it on 90% of the time because I just forget to take it off. That's why. As Ash, I stay invisible all the time, and I don't even feel the need to use a Decaying Dragon key to use shoot gaining or anything like that. It's just I just forget it on. It's there. It's probably been there for over a month now. Yeah. That's how it goes. I don't think, or I can't remember anything else to say right now about the focus trees. I don't think I've ever used Madurai on a level cap disruption. And yeah, neither Madurai, neither Vazarin. I do see why Vazarin is interesting, but I just cannot go over of how Unairu is good to res yourself. That's about it. Gear. Have your air support. Have your synthesis scanner because it's after it gets a level cap, it's a free Samaris standing cap. Have your Specters. Clam clone is really important. That is, I'm kidding. You don't need clam clones. But yeah, that's gonna be it for today. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. Leave it a like, subscribe, and peace.